And so it begins. One of the main reasons for coming to Ontario, Canada was to get some work done here at Ray Outfitted. What I mean by work done is I think we have like 7, 8, or 9 projects to do. This one is project number 1. What's up, you guys? We're at Ray Outfitted, and today we're going to be putting Rainer to some work. We're going to be installing a, what's it called? Madison. We're installing something. Finally tracked her down, and we're going to be installing this Victron battery monitor. I don't know a whole lot about it. All I do know is that from my cell phone, I'll be able to pull up this device on my phone and see what's happening with my solar when I'm running my fridge to see how long it'll run in the current solar conditions. And for me, most important of all, when the new sound system goes in, I'll know how long we can party before the party's gotta stop. Oh, true words spoken by a DJ. So when it comes to building a van, there's multiple different types of people. You got the DIY person who's skilled and capable of doing stuff like this on their own. Then you got people like me that would rather hold the camera and film a professional doing the job right. Because when I'm plugged into my electrical and solar system, whether I'm editing a video, charging my cell phone, or I'm playing music on my DJ gear to the wee hours in the morning, the last thing I ever want to think about or stress about is, did I do it right, and am I gonna burn my van down? I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to electronics. I don't like to fuss with a lot of settings and a lot of things that I just don't understand. So my system in my van was all installed by Ray Outfitted, and it's pretty much plug and play. I chose this little Renogy DC to DC MPPT charge controller. Do I know what that means? Not really, but I have a rough idea. But the reason why I wanted this one is because there's no screen display, no menu settings, no ups or downs or this or that. You literally just plug this in, set it up for whatever batteries you have. So I have AGM batteries, and this takes care of everything without even thinking about it. It just knows what it needs and just sends power to wherever it needs to go. So this is where the solar panel power comes into. It makes sure that the battery gets the proper current for the batteries. This here also connects to my alternator, so it takes care of the alternator charging. So when the alternator sends power back to here, it distributes it to the batteries in exactly what they need for proper charging. This one is also connected to my starter battery. So when my solar batteries are full, if my starter battery happens to be a little low, it sends a little bit of power back to the front, kind of managing my entire system in the van. But there's no way for me to see what's happening on here. And I know this might get confusing because you're like, Chrome, you didn't want one with all the confusing displays. And I didn't, because I'm not one to scroll through menu settings and like, is it this or is it that, and up or down or do it. It just gets confusing for me. So when I found out about this little Victron battery monitor and the possibility of me just opening up an app on my phone and to be able to see everything that my system's doing, and it tracks it over time, so I know exactly how many amp hours of power I've pulled out of these batteries over the lifetime of it. It is just super, super cool. So let me show you guys this little app. You download the app, it's called Victron Connect. You push it, it loads it up. Alakaboom, there's my entire system. So currently my batteries are at a 100% charge. My voltage is at 13 volts. The current output right now, depends on how you read it. If you're one to read it in amperage or read it in watts. So my system right now is outputting 17, 18 watts. This here shows me the consumed amp hours and time remaining at this current draw. So right now, if my fridge is pulling 13, 15 watts and whatever else is plugged into my van, I could run at that current draw for 6 total days. And the temperature of my batteries is 21 degrees Celsius. Pretty cool. This side gets really awesome. Like, I'll show you this a little bit later on. I'm still new to all this stuff. But the history side will tell me how much my batteries have ever been discharged the deepest, my last full discharge, my cumulative amp hours drawn, so 20 amp hours total drawn out of my thing. Yeah, so this thing will kind of monitor absolutely everything. It tells me the minimum it's ever been dropped to, which is 12.7. The highest battery voltage is 14.59. This is just super cool. And this stuff is, I'm still not that far yet. Oh, Jeffrey Bear says cool. Pretty cool. I think this is going to absolutely change how I look at my solar system. I tried my hardest to film the install, but because it is such a small little confined space over there, it was a bit tough for me to get my camera in there. So I'm going to show you guys right here on the box on how the install worked. It's pretty simple. It's got the little round battery monitor, which is bolted into my cabinet over there, but the main unit here is this shunt. Don't ask me what a shunt is, because I don't know. I'm sure somebody's going to write it in the comments, but everything electrical is connected to here. So the positive for the battery is connected to here, and all the grounds for everything in my van are connected to the shunt. This shunt is what controls it all, so it knows how much amperage and wattage and things that are being pulled out of all the different devices, and that's what monitors the whole system. So ideally, it's a pretty small little install that has a massive impact on you monitoring your system. I'm gonna have so much fun with this little thing. Hey, you know what? Instead of me sitting over here showing this thing and talking about it, let's go pull up the Ray Outfitted one and get Madison to show me all the crazy things that are going on with theirs, because they've had theirs hooked up for quite a while. Let's go do that. Are you being a good shop dog?
The best.
I figured at least if they show you theirs, you get to see all the different charge cycles and all the different wattages that have gone out and how many amp hours this thing's used since they've installed it. Mine's not showing me a whole lot right now. It's just super exciting to look at. I just keep staring at it. That's Madison from Ray Outfitted, if you've never met her before.
Hi. So same as Chrome's, you can see right now we're sitting at 100%, and this is the main display. So it's telling us what our voltage is, what we're currently drawing. So right now we're just drawing 1.6 amps, 21 watts. That's the fans running. And it's showing that we've consumed 1.2 amp hours out of our battery bank. Our battery bank's a bit bigger than Chrome's. We're 600 amp hours usable. So right now it's saying we could run our fans for infinite time as solar just kicks up. But when we go look at our history, this shows that we have cumulatively drawn 30,888 amp hours out of our battery. Our deepest discharge of our 600 amp hours available. The deepest we've gone is 477 amp hours down. On average, we use 278 amp hours before charging back up. It gets fun to start seeing some of the total energy charge. So 431.4 kilowatt hours since we installed this. You can see our total charge cycles. We've used 16. And last time since we were full was 30 minutes ago. When you go a little bit lower, this is where it starts getting some of the technical. This is what Ray Outfitted uses when we have a client that's having any issues. So we can see what their min and max battery voltages are to know if they have anything installed incorrectly. And then the voltage alarms a little bit below. You want those to always be at 0. What means we've had no low voltage alarms or high voltage alarms. And that's what you're looking for.
Some of you might be scratching your head to some of the terms and stuff that she put out there. And that's where my confusion came in at the very beginning when it comes to me doing solar and electrical in my van, because I don't know all that stuff. And slowly, after having it for a while, you start to learn it. That's where having a battery control system like this, where it's all on an app, because when you can visibly see things make a little bit more sense pretty fast. And getting into solar and electricity is a bit of it kind of blows your mind when it comes to trying to figure things out. So if you take a look at my system was installed by these guys here at Ray Outfitted, because that's a little out of my comfort zone and wheelhouse to install, because the last thing I want to do is to burn my van down. But everything in there, after they installed it, I never had to think about it ever again. My only job at that point was to make sure that the solar stayed nice and clean. Get up there and wipe it down with some glass cleaner once in a while, or pressure wash it off when I'm at the car wash, or keep the debris off of it. That was my only job, and it's done its work. I've had it in my van now for, I don't know, 6-7 months or whatever it's been. I'm not really sure, but it's been something I've never had to think about. It's just been pulling in power from the sun, keeping my batteries charged. My alternator tops it up when the sun's not out, it's been super awesome. But now it's come to a point where I would like to see what's going on. So some of the things that Madison was talking about when it comes to showing her device, I really still don't understand it all quite yet. But I know having this Victron battery controller accessible from an app on my phone where I can visibly see everything that's going on, I think things are gonna make more sense as time goes on, because when you can see it, you end up learning things a little faster. But anyway, you guys, I'll leave the links to everything we talked about in this video down below, and I'll probably dive into this stuff more and more. There's Mr. Cruzy Bear. More and more as I start to learn this system. But I thought this was a really cool addition to my van because having it on an app just makes sense. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Cruzy, why don't you come say bye to everybody? Cruzy, hi, buddy. Hi. Nice to see you make an appearance. He's done. Okay, guys, see you later. Really? You're gonna leave him with that? That's just, people don't want to see that, Cruzy. All right, guys, hit some of these buttons here. I'll see you on the next video.